This is Success Beyond the Score, giving insights and tips to help you learn how to build your music career from the best in the field by Millicent Stephenson. Millicent is a multi-award winning saxophonist and endorser of Harry Hartman's Fiber Reeds. She is currently serving on the executive committee of the Musicians Union. With over 40 years experience in the creative industry, Millicent has honed her performance and business skills. She provides personal development training and coaching via her online platform, successbeyondthescore.com.
Hello. I hope you can hear me. Just checking my mic levels. And of course, if you can't, please put a message in the chat. Now, today is scorching. It's super hot here, which is kind of nice. We don't get a lot of really hot weather. And then we complain and then it gets cold and we want the hot weather back. But it's great. So at some point, I may have to put a fan on because I've just kind of kept all the windows closed to stop the noise on the microphone. Let me just make that a bit closer to me. Yep. And hopefully that should work. So just let me know in the chat if everything is fine. Okay, so today we have got an interesting hot topic. And that is playing for free a contradiction for musicians? And when I was thinking of this title, I thought, well, you know, it's something as musicians we always struggle with, we have a problem with, we wish it didn't happen. Sometimes stuff happens to us and we end up playing for free and we kick ourselves because we let it happen. Other times we choose to and we don't mind. But listen, I'm going to get it straight out there. I believe 100% musicians should be paid. End of story for me. However, I've gone through the ranks of being paid, doing stuff for free, and occasionally I get asked now, but I have some rules, and I'm going to share those rules with you because they've helped me a lot, absolutely a lot. Now then, I'm looking across here at my notes, so if I'm not ignoring you, just doing this. Okay, what I would say firstly is that over the centuries, and I mean over the centuries, music has been relegated. It started off as being the preserve of certain groups of people who got paid, and I'm a Christian, so let me go even Bible. The Levites, you know, they were musicians as well as ministers. They got paid. They didn't have to work as such, just to do the music. And as we go through the centuries, music has been relegated. Now, we do have orchestras in the UK and they are paid. We have musicians who are paid, I'm paid, but it is a bit of a struggle. And I recall speaking to a few friends about their experience with working and being paid, being charged for free. So let me just check in my notes. I saw a comment popped in, it just caught my attention. And one friend said to me, look, when he started out, he would get work, and when he got this work, and it was in a church setting, he'd get there, do his work, brilliant musician, phenomenal songwriter, and only get a drink and a patty. Now listen, if you're from the Caribbean, you'll understand the word patty. British people, it's like a pasty. A pastry filled with meat and veg and stuff like that. That was it. And it was like, how can you live off that, you know? Maybe for you, you've been invited to play at stuff and people just say, thank you very much. You played wonderful. See you next year. You know, or maybe you've been asked to play somewhere and they talk about the venue. Oh, it's a great stage and we're going to have so many people coming and yada, 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 yada. No mention of pay. Maybe you've looked on the fly and realised they're charging £50, £70, £20 for tickets. No mention of pay. And you find it difficult. You're thinking, oh, what, should I do it? Should I? Here's a good one. I just thought of this one. I'd love you to come and play. But you know what? There's going to be people there who will snap you up. You know, they're going to want your details. They're going to book you. No mention of pay. Now, today it's going to be so hard for me, but I'm going to stick in the path of working for free. I'm going to do my best to argue the point for working for free. It is tough for me to do, but I'm going to do it. Now, as I said, for me, and I started off, I did a lot for free because it was the culture I was in. My music started in the church setting, so I just played for my local church, played for friends, played for family, free. It was just what I did. And eventually I decided I wanted to make it full-time and transitioned into a full-time career, transitioned into getting paid all the way through, and go back to episode 5 of this podcast where I talk about getting paid. Absolutely. But I think the worst one for me in terms of getting paid working for free is where they tell you they're going to pay you, you rock up and they don't. And it's not as straightforward as that. I mean, I remember doing a gig for a friend of a friend, and I thought, okay, I'm doing it for a friend. And then I said, look, I've got expenses, da 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 da. So yeah, we'll pay you cash on the day. Yeah, we're good for it. Only to find on the day it just didn't happen. Only to find months later I'm still chasing the pay. Only to find it happens, don't like it, but I learned some lessons which added to my rules, which I'm going to share with you. I remember another event whereby it was a business launch, and they explained their situation, and I thought, okay, I can see their situation. And I negotiated that they cover my travel expenses, and because they're into art, I negotiated a nice piece of art, which I was really looking forward to collecting. And they said, oh yeah, it's fine, you can have that. They sent me my travel expenses in advance. No problemo. Happy to rock up. Do the performance. Come to collect my art. Could not get my art. Waited. Even up to this day, I have not got my art. Lessons learnt. Some little rules coming your way. By the way, if you're enjoying the podcast episodes of Season 3, Season 2, Season 1, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get notifications for my next one, because I'm actually doing 11 days on YouTube for my Season 3 of my podcast, and then I'll be putting the audio out onto iTunes and all other places. But for right now, it's on YouTube, and this is episode 6, so not long to go. And also, if you're new here and you have not yet got this, I have a couple of free gifts to give you. One is called 25 Secrets of the Successful Gigging Musician, Singer, Songwriter, Rapper, Spoken Word Artist. Had to think about that. And the other is 10 Reasons Why They Will Pay You in Advance. And if you go over to successbeyondthescore.com/free gifts, and the link is in the description, you can get that. The other thing I do have, which is a paid product, is about how to work out your gig fee, collect your payment, and manage your music money. Now, I'm doing that on special reduction because I'm doing live work. So if you go over to successbeyondthescore.com/store, you will see that one there. Now then, if you've got questions, please put them in the chat, and I can see that one's already there from Mortgage Gina Sports. Check out her products. Really, really good. Now then, when do you play for free? For me, rarely and zero. In fact, barring lockdown, not that I work for free in lockdown, but before lockdown, I think it's probably 2 gigs a year I did, because I believe in getting paid. But if you want to play for free, if you choose to play for free, here are some rules that will help you with doing that. Now then, my first number one rule, I'm going to give you 5 today, 5. My first number one rule, and hello Sunray, see you there, hello, is it's your choice and not theirs. Because like I mentioned earlier on, you're going to get people coming to you saying, if you play, people are going to be there who want to book you. That is their choice, not yours. Their decision, not yours. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I met someone at a gig, a musician who should know better, but hey ho, who was putting on an event, fair dues, Putting on like a jam thing, fair dues. Okay, no money in that, no money at the door, fine, fair dues. And said, I'd love you to come and play. I'm inviting some people down there. It will make it you a while. I know you've got to come from far, but if you can just come and play, it'd be really great to have you on the bill. And I'm like, okay. It's a new city. I want to kind of break into that city. I'm going to go do it. And, he's got some people coming and might be able to have a little chat and get booked for other work. And he described some of these people and described what they want to do. And I thought, yeah, fine, that sounds good. I take myself, try not to speak patois, drive. Well, my husband drove, I was a passenger. Drove miles to do this show. Did it. Met one of the persons he mentioned. The other people didn't show. And when, bottom line, nothing happened. Checked out what they were doing, nothing happened. So whilst it was beneficial for him to have me there, because maybe that pulled his crowd, maybe it gave the variety, I came away with nothing. I came away with miles on my vehicle, petrol spent, time, I guess, wasted, because I could have stayed at home and did nothing rather than go down there. Okay, so I went and I took the gamble. Here it is, working for free. You have to decide if you want to take that gamble. And it is a gamble because it can go in either direction. But remember, it's your choice. I was disappointed because I was hoping to have got something from it. And I thought, well, I'm not going to do that again. But in my early days, I did do a lot of free work because I chose to do a lot of free work. So that's your number one. Your choice, not theirs. Know why you're doing it and be satisfied if it doesn't work out. I wasn't very satisfied, but just make sure you will be satisfied if it doesn't work out. You go, oh well, win some, lose some. That's it. Number two. Here's number two. Fair exchange. Now, I have a business coach, Sandy Granville. I should call it Lady Sandy Granville because she is a lady. And not because she's a lady, but she has the title of a lady. And I was on the business course. I think I might have mentioned to you the course I did, maybe not. The business planning one, maybe I did, maybe I don't. But anyway, she was the one, she was a tutor. And we had a very good discussion about working for free. And she said, in her book, there's no such thing as free. In her book, she has to get something from it. And in her book, there must be a fair exchange. So if money is not the currency, which is what I mentioned in episode 5, money is a currency for your work. If money is not the currency, what is it going to be? So for her, it could be a lunch. For her, it could be travel expenses. For you, it may be, and I've done this one, a feature in a magazine. So if I know that the event is going to have a spread in a magazine, spread in a newspaper, I say to them, please, you have to mention me in the article. And that is what I want, because I want the publicity. I want to use that article for my PR, for my website, to tell people and my fans about it. It works for me. Yeah. Maybe you want to write up in the brochure that they're having for the event. So I've done events where they've got a program, it's printed, it's glossy. You've got 500 people in the auditorium. They're going to be flicking through, reading. They're going to read about you. They're going to have your number there. They're going to have your website there. They're going to have your socials there. They're going to have your bio there. So hopefully by them reading about that, when you go up on stage, you only have to endorse that. You say, and I'm on page 26 of the brochure, whatever you're going to say, promote yourself, yeah? Maybe they're going to be doing some radio work and you say, look, I want to accompany you with the radio work and talk about that. Or maybe they're mentioning the radio, being on the flyer. Look, whatever it is you want as your currency, that's what you've got to say, because then you're going to work for free, because you're not going to get paid. Have your currency. So fair exchange, number 2. Number 3 is, who will you and who will you not work for? Free. I laugh. No, it's, you have to make these decisions. You've got to decide. I know I said it's your choice, not theirs. I said about fair exchange, but sometimes you've got to narrow it down to who. For me, I attend a church, and if they ask me to play, I will play for them for free, because that's my ministry, that's my job, that's what I'm doing right there. That's what I'm happy with. You might not be. That's for me. Any other church, religious organization outside of my immediate church, they pay my way because I'm working. Yeah. And if it's a ministry, I'm still working. And also, I need to pay my bills. I'm working. For me, there is only maybe 2 or 3 friends I would work for free for. That's it. Outside of that, you don't fall into that category. I'm sorry, friends, you don't. And also, with friends and family, sometimes they will say, can you come and help me out? And da-da-da. And you go, yeah, sure, I'll help you out. But if you ask them to help you out, will they do it? And that's a great test. And if you know they ain't going to do it, then don't do it for free, because you're just going to be really unhappy, because you're going to be moaning like, I asked them and they didn't do that. You know, you're going to be on that one. So be really, 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 really narrow with who and who you will not. Sometimes drawing a line like across friends and family keeps it clean, because you're a business. And I'm like that. Sometimes I have family, extended family ask me to come and do stuff. Hi, you Matt, you watching? But it's business. And some days I don't want to work. I do not want to work in family settings. I just want to be a family member. That is it. But for you, the musician I'm speaking to now, you might say for your family and for your friends, you'll do it for free. That's fine. It may also be a charity. You may decide if it's your favorite charity, you believe in the cause, you believe in what they're doing, you will give your services for free. In so doing, even if you're giving your service for free for the charity, make sure they advertise you, make sure they promote you, make sure you're in the brochure, make sure they introduce you well, make sure they have a link from their site to your site. I've done that as well. And on their website, they've mentioned you and promoted you. That's another way that's a fair exchange back to currency. But you must decide who you will and who you will not work for free, and whether it's zero. Number 4, the percent. I'm getting warm now, hence the cloth has come out. Number 4, think about the percentage of free work you will do in a year. Now, I got this tip from a really great friend, Nikki Tapper. She's a BBC radio producer. And years ago, when I was just making some changes and cutting my teeth and moving to my full-time career, and we were talking, and I said to her, you know, I'm doing this gig and I don't like working for free. You know, it's always, I need to get paid. And she said one of the things she did is to decide in her year, her quota, how many events she would do for free, and after that they all have to be paid. And so that might be a rule that works for you. So let's give that one a go. And finally, my 5th point, and if you've got questions, please put them in the chat. My 5th point is when you're starting out. Now, when you're starting out, you might decide you're doing it for experience. You might decide nobody knows me, I've just got to get some skin in the game. You might decide that you're testing out your material and figuring out what songs work. You might decide I don't have a fan base, I'm just figuring it out. You might also decide that I've got another job, so just doing it for free right now helps me because I'm an apprentice, so to speak. I would also argue that in those cases you should at least get your expenses covered, because you have to get your expenses covered and then start to build from that. But starting out, you may decide because of your confidence that that's what you want to do, and that's fine. That's the way I did it. I was starting out and I didn't mind. I had a full-time job doing something else in education, so that was cool. So those are kind of my 5 things, my guide, I would say, for working for free. And if you can think of other rules, put them in the chat, because I can extend my guide. Hey, you know. I did mention about saying no. Let me just have a look at the question here before I get to this how to say no. When you just start out, is it normal to pay for free to help get exposure? Is this a norm, or are other events or planners taking advantage? Interesting. Well, yes, when you're starting out, is it the norm? Is it the norm? I think it is the norm, but it doesn't have to be normal. We can change the status quo. If someone is approaching you, they like you, there's something about you they want, you know, you can actually say a fee, you know, you can say you need your expenses covered. That's always like the minimum. So that's fine. Are they taking advantage? Yeah. some people are taking advantage, and I'm going to come into that in. Let me have a look at if I've got that in under the saying no. Well, let me pull it up. No, I'll cover that point when I do the saying no. Let me keep to my plan, or else I'll get off track. But yeah, there are some people who definitely take advantage. Absolutely, absolutely. How do you raise your prices? For example, you've done a free show for a person, but the next time you want to be paid, how do you progress it? Hey, good question, Sunray. Well, you would progress it. Okay, my experience of doing that, I did that with someone, where I did their work for about 2 or 3 years running, and I was getting other paid work, and I decided I needed to get paid for this one because I couldn't keep up. And obviously we've gone through COVID, people, we've gone through lockdown, and maybe you were doing work for free and it's now time to start getting paid. And what I actually said to the person was as simple as this. Yeah, love to do the gig, really interested in doing it. Yeah. Listen, unfortunately, I've got to change the way we work. I now need to start charging because I have expenses and I really need to get those covered. And the person said, yes, that was great. That was easy. What if they say no, you might be asking. Then you then have to make that decision. Do you continue to work for free or do you say no? And sometimes you might need to say no, or maybe to say, I'm sorry, I cannot do it on this occasion because of my expenses. I generally have found that people will sort of say, yeah, I can do that. What sort of fee are you, what sort of fee do you need? I did a training course years ago. It was my first music training course, Ben and Beppa. I always talk about these guys, absolutely fantastic guys. I went on that course. It was a life changer for me. And they said, start with the word expenses because people will pay expenses. So you need to cover up with a figure. What's your expense cover? Is it £50? Is it £100? Is it less? Is it more? You just got to work out the expenses that you need covering. So your travel, what that's going to cost, and things like that. Round it up to a round figure, present it to them. And perhaps they might need an invoice. And this is really good where I could say, if you grab that course of mine that I mentioned, how to work out your gig fee, how to collect payment and how to manage your music money, it goes into a lot of depth on how to construct an invoice. It goes into a lot of depth about how to negotiate your fees. It goes into a lot of depth about working for free, when not to. It goes into mindset, because a lot of getting paid and working for free is about our mindset and how we think about ourselves and what we do. So do check that out, www.successbeyondthescore.com/store. But there's some more tips there about how to sort of level up your payment. Let me see. Yeah, that's how to progress it. Let me just do into the say no thing, because I've mentioned the say no. Sometimes you have to say no. In fact, sometimes all the time you have to say no because people are always taking it, aren't they? The Musicians Union I'm a member of and I'm on the executive committee for have a fair play guide, and it's for free, which you can download, and it goes through, the whole thing of if you play fair, you should be paid, end of. And it's there to help promoters and events and so on. So do check that out. But remember what I said in episode 5 about getting paid. Our art is valuable, and we do need to change the status quo. And I said today I'm going to try my best to stay in the lane of free. This is so hard, but sometimes you do have to say, sorry, I'm not available. Sometimes you have to say, I have expenses which must be covered. And those kind of things help to change the status quo. And other times you need to walk away. So let me give you a couple of stories that I did. I was asked to play for two very prestigious events with 2 different outcomes. And one prestigious event, they made it very clear that it was going to be for free. And I said, okay, because I was trying to cut my teeth. And for me, I wanted the PR. I wanted the video, because they were going to give me the video clip, which I could use, which I wanted. So for me, that was a fair exchange. I wanted those things. However, I later found out through the grapevine that this person is notorious for booking musicians and not paying them. And I thought, well, okay, that was fine because I got my video, I got the publicity I needed, so it worked for me on that occasion. And I actually did another thing for them, and I heard, and that's where I heard about this notorious reputation of this person. To the point that this person didn't even feed the musicians. They didn't even give them a meal. They were to sit at the back of the hall, waiting to go on stage, going on stage, come off stage, go home. They didn't have a changing room because all the A-listers had that. And, you know, when you come across something like that, you need to call it out. And I actually did. People in my network, when they said, oh, so-and-so's invited me to play, I said, he doesn't pay musicians. He doesn't feed musicians. So you really need to think about it. Call it out, because that's the way we're going to change people like that who are taking the mick. Morgan Genius, answering your question, taking the mick. I don't swear, so I won't say anything stronger than that. Another one that I did was an event where it's a really long story. Let me give you the short version. They wanted to book me. They didn't keep in contact with me. I thought they'd forgotten about me. Then I got a call that they wanted me to come to the event. The event was like in 2 days' time. I said, hey, I did invoice you. You know, I did, you know, you said you're going to pay me. I need to be paid in advance. Well, you know, it's 2 days' time. I've got a lot of running around to do. When you rock up, I will pay you. I said, okay, please pay me on arrival. That's another rule I have, on arrival, if I'm dealing with cash. I rocked up on arrival, could not find this person. He was, sorry, I said agenda, but they were busy sorting out the arrangements for the event, their dues. I waited, so I said, okay, I said to myself, I will go and do a sound check, might as well, because the time's ticking. Set up my equipment, did my sound check, fine. Still, promoter, no show. Okay, so I went to find the promoter, said money was in car, said he had to go get it, but he had a lot to do. I said I would wait. He stopped, he thought, he stuck his hand in his pocket, he took out some cash. I said, well, this is all I have and I can give you the rest later. I was like, no. I could see there was other things kicking off. You know, when you go to a gig, you got to watch what's happening around you. How is this promoter dealing with the rest of the artists? How is he dealing, or she dealing, or they dealing with their audience? Because you get a barometer, you get a reading on them. In this particular event, things were going wrong. There were people turning up to say they had tickets, but they had no seats. There are people turning up who wanted tickets, but there were no tickets left. There was a caterer saying, I've catered for X amount of numbers, but I can see in your hall you've got X amount of people. The food will not stretch. I think they needed Jesus in there to extend it. Now listen, I saw all of that. I saw the writing on the wall and goes, you know what? Self, it's time to go. So I said to my daughter who attended me, we're going. She goes, really? Yeah, we're going. Let me tell you, I didn't even change into my outfit. I was still in my arrival outfit, my jeans and my hoodie and stuff like that, looking smart. I didn't even change because I thought the minute I put on my garms, they're going to think, the promoter's going to think they're going to perform. I said, no. So yours truly went in there, pulled out my microphone, unplugged it, did it very gracefully, by the way, very nicely. And the DJ says, where you going? The sound engineer, where you going? I said, I'm going. Why? He hasn't paid me, so I need to leave. And I took my stuff and I left. So sometimes you've got to put your foot down with a firm hand because people talk. And so people know my reputation. So I hope that helps in dealing with people who are taking their mick, you know. And, you know, sometimes with working for free, you really don't know. You've just got to go with your gut on something. Sometimes you got to go with what you see. And other times you got to make that decision. But, yeah, I could tell you more stories, honestly. But I tell you what, nowadays, I don't do any work for free. I'm sorry, I don't. Don't ask me, don't. And if you do, we have to have a conversation. It's got to work for me, and you've got to do the same. So listen, I can see the chat's got some more comments. I'm just going to check that. If you've got any more questions, I've gone over my time because I try not to be here too long because I know it's your lunch break. Please put them in the comments box and I will be looking in the comments to answer anything later so you can get the reply. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. I am going to be checking my phone and checking some of these things. Share it with other musicians because people need to know we need to change the status quo, but there are times when you need to work for free. In fact, maybe I shouldn't say this. No, actually, I can say because it was publicly said. I went to a meeting to do with the Commonwealth Games, which is being held in Birmingham this month. And it was a public meeting of the committee and musicians and organisations who are looking to tender. And one of the things they did say that they are paying musicians and performers for the Commonwealth Games, which they are because they've gone in contact with me about things and they are paying. But one thing they did say is that where it concerns the auditorium, like the main sort of track and field areas, Alexander Stadium, they'll be getting in some larger names, you know, people who have probably been featured in the charts, the pop charts and so on. But they mentioned that those kind of people be coming because they want the record sales, because they want the publicity. And it was very interesting to hear a large organisation like that, the organiser Commonwealth Games, actually saying that. So I'm not talking rubbish, but it was still a trade. It was a fair exchange. They were not coming for free to get nothing from it. The artists, they're getting something from it. You can do the same. Let me see. All right, thank you. So Sharon Y, thank you so much, Millicent. I followed your very good professional advice and received payment. Oh, brilliant! And received payment and food for an event. Fantastic! Yay, Sharon! Because I actually put on a webinar a few weeks ago on getting paid. Get paid your worth. And I've got the video for that. I'm still editing. And when that goes up, I will be advertising that out so people, you can go watch that. There will be a charge because obviously I gotta get paid, girl gotta work. But if you're interested in that, because Sharon was on that and she actually got food and got paid for something fantastic. Grab one of my free gifts, the 25 secrets or how to get paid in advance, so you're on my mailing list and I can let you know when that's out. Obviously subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll try and put an ad on my YouTube, but the thing with social media platforms is they don't always post out to everybody. So right now, today, I've got about 688 people. They don't always get my notifications because that's the way social media works. So the best thing to do is to get onto my mailing list. So go over to my successbeyondthescore.com website, go to free gifts, grab one of those, get onto my mailing list, and I'll be pushing out lots of stuff. And in fact, when I have time, I usually put out some free email with free tips and advice. So you're going to get a lot from me, peeps. You'll get a lot. Rolling up to the gigs like Sunray, that's funny. Yeah. Story time videos. Millicent, you're funny. I love your heart. Hearing your music experience stories, Michelle. Oh, cool, Michelle. Thank you. Excellent discussion. Thank you, Morgan Genius. I hope that really helped. Let me just go back if I missed anything. Do you always use a contract? Does this help to secure that you get paid? Okay, Morgan Genius. Really, really good. I always use a contract. Absolutely have a contract. And in the course I mentioned that I have how to work out your gig fee, collect payment and manage your music money, I do talk about contracts a lot in that, and you can get that from the store on successbeyondthescore.com. But you must get a contract. You must give a contract or receive a contract, put it in writing. But Musicians Union say you've got to put it in writing, because if things go pear-shaped, you can take it to the small claims court or something. If I'm working for free, because we're on the topic of free, I also send a contract for that. I also send that, we've agreed that this is yada, 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 yada. I always do that. Does this help you to secure that you get paid? It depends how you do the payments, whether you get paid in advance, during or after. Go grab the course, because I go into a lot of detail about that. But I have found that I do get paid. It's just a one or two, even though I've mentioned all these scary stories. they all happened over time in my experience, and I've learned to level up. And that's why today I can sit here and give you those 5 reasons about how to manage working for free. But go grab those things, and they get paid in advance. I've given some tips there that helps to make sure you get paid too, Morgan Gina, so I hope that helps you there. Right, I think I've covered all of them. You have been great. I know this was going to be a hot topic for musicians. Like, subscribe, share. Please put comments in the chat, put questions in the chat. I'll come back and help you. Go over to my website, successbeyondthescore.com, and grab your free gift. There's a tab that says free gift. Grab that there, or go to the store if you're interested in the how to work out your gig fee, collect payment, and manage your music money. Now, tomorrow, I am going to be doing, do you have a music hobby or a music business? And does it matter? It clearly does. It absolutely matters. And they're night and day. They're really, really important. Maybe not as exciting as the getting paid ones, but it will really help you in terms of getting paid as well. So do come back tomorrow, 1 o'clock British Summer Time. Please tell your friends, please share. And as I say, I'm on this 11 day tranche. Last week I did 5 days. Today's day 6, tomorrow day 7. Now, just advance notice, my 11th day is supposed to be next Monday, but I'm going to have to shift that because I've been asked to perform at a funeral of someone who had played for when their husband died for about 3.5 years ago, and then their mum's passed and they've asked me to play. So it's one of those I just couldn't turn down, must do. So my 11th day might move, but I'll give you information about that on Friday. You've been great. Thank you so much. I am going to see if I can get my music rocking as I do my outro, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Thank you.